Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's Sarfnic here. Welcome back to another live stream on the main channel. It's actually been like 4 days since I streamed on the main channel. That's because, I was busy. I did some baller stuff on the second channel, I guess, but other than that, I've had quite a busy week. Well, sort of, okay. So, let's see. Last stream was Saturday. So, Sunday, nothing really happened. I guess the fun thing. Monday, I just had some school, and nothing really happened either, except I guess I went to sword fighting. Then Tuesday happened, and that was yesterday. That was fucking a lot happened on Tuesday. First I had my usual classes. Then I started working this after school program I signed up for. It's voluntary. It's volunteer work. I'm starting to say that. And if anything, I'm paying to do it technically because I gotta pay the club dues. But it's awesome. You gotta go to an elementary school. Work with some kids. I enjoy it a lot. It's honestly something I want to do as a career probably. So yeah. But then today had some school as just like Monday. But then new Ninjago episodes dropped. Dragons Rising. So like the first 10 episodes, which is considered Dragons Rising Part 1, came out like June 1st this year. And then there was a gap, and it was supposed to not come out till Part 2 was not supposed to come out till October 12th. But I guess some other channel today dropped half of those episodes. So they dropped 5 episodes. First half, obviously. And they were in English and in good enough quality, so I decided to watch them. And they were good. They were good. Also, I'm experimenting with the bitrate, and because of it, I guess the stream is having issues. But I don't know what to do, okay? It's having issues, alright? I don't know. Sure, the lag will just fix itself. Sometimes it's just an issue that comes every once in a while. But anyways, I really enjoyed those episodes. Honestly, in my opinion, these episodes that dropped were some of the best episodes of Ninjago in years, honestly, since like 2021. This is some of the best episodes I've watched. And I really enjoyed it more than the first half of Dragons Rising so far. Because this is only half. I only have half the stuff to judge, but so far it's better than the first half of Dragons Rising in my opinion. And then I went to Twitter, and Twitter had the exact opposite opinion. They're like, oh no, it's okay, but like I don't think it was as good as the first episodes of Ninjago Dragons Rising. I'm like, what? Like, this is a rare moment where I strongly disagree. Like, like on the way left there's strongly disagree, and then there's disagree, and then agree, and then on the way right there's strongly agree. I was on strongly disagree with this one. Like, honestly, like I do not agree at all with that opinion. Like, what? Like, oh, the episodes are disorganized, I'm like, what? Like, this is way better than part 1. Like, way better than part 1 so far. Like, awesome adventures and new realms, all the ninjas splitting up. Like, I fucking enjoyed it so much. Such good character development, but, I guess, hey, at least I enjoyed it. And I'm sure other people enjoyed it, too. We'll see the reviews. Probably pissed if it's, like, all of, like, the Ninjago fan base is like, I really think it's bad, guys. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. This is awesome. Anyways, yeah. So I've been busy, yeah. It's going to be pretty cool. And tomorrow I go on a Model UN trip. Yeah, I had Model UN yesterday, too, along with the whole Lego club going to an elementary school thing. They do it twice a week. They go on Thursdays and they go on Tuesdays. And the Thursday date I didn't sign up for because it was kind of an inconvenient time, and then I decided to sign up for the Wednesdays, and they're like, oh, we can't do Wednesdays anymore because the elementary school, because they do different elementary schools every day. And they're like, oh, those guys kind of just never got back to us. I'm like, oh, shit. Very well, then. I guess they'll sign up for this Tuesday. But I might do the Thursdays next semester. But it's really fun. I immediately get there. There's like 7 of us, and they give us like 5 different groups of kids. And me and my group of kids, we got along pretty well, dude. It's just a classic me thing, man. I'm really good with kids. I don't know what it is. And I'm going to keep talking about that during the story. As I talked about during the last stream, I'm very good with kids. They fucking love me. I was talking with these kids about not only just Legos, obviously, because they're real them, but like Minecraft and all that. It's really good. Like, I don't know what it is, man. But as long as I get to do that, I'm happy. Let's continue telling the story. Anyways. So, there was one detail I forgot to mention, and speaking of Ninjago, yeah, I forgot to mention for some reason, on June 1st of 2023. So, around the time I was like, oh, what did I say I did around then? I don't remember. I said something. Oh, around then there was a stream, Technoblade charity stream, yeah. But also, there was fucking Ninjago Dragons Rising dropped, and I spent like I decided to spread out watching the 10 episodes over 2 days. I really enjoyed it. and it was really awesome. And I remember getting a haircut right after watching some episodes. I think it was either June 1st or June 2nd. I forget which one of those days was. It might have been June 1st. I got my haircut. But yeah, I really enjoyed Dragons Rising when it first came out. I'm enjoying it now. But anyways, I get back from my Wyoming trip, and not only do I have my grandma from Wisconsin here, but also my grandma from Florida met up with us at the airport. She was going to be spending the week with us. And so I had both of my grandmas at the airport and in the Uber car heading back home. And then my other grandma, the one we went the whole trip with, she went back to Wisconsin. But was that even the last time I saw them that month? I think it was. But I saw them again in July, so it doesn't matter. But then, I went to bed that night. I had trouble sleeping. Because the next day was the start of summer camp, which, as someone who's very good with kids, I really enjoy working summer camp. And so, I was a little scared. Oh, fuck off. Dude, we can die to these guys now that I think about it. Because we have barely any food. It's raining, and we got phantoms after us. We don't even have windows. Like, kind of in a bad position, I'm not going to lie. Yeah, whatever. I don't want to lose this world, though, because I actually kind of put a lot of effort in it. I'll just cower in a corner a while. Wait. No food. Both of these worlds are struggling to get food. Sheesh. Huh. Wait a minute. It is symmetrical. I thought it wasn't. Or it is an even number and not an odd number. So I can do the thing with the doors. Oh my god, thank god. I was kind of pissed off about that when I first... People probably yell at me in chat like, oh, no. Okay. Of course I do this. But yeah, as per usual, I'm sorry that you have to hear my loud-ass PC at the college set. It's loud as it is because the mic picks up a lot of noise. But also because of the fact that this college setup is echoey, I guess it amplifies the PC sound compared to when I'm at like home and shit. So, yeah, can't do anything about it. So I'm going to quickly check how the quality is because apparently it says it's bad. Like dropping frames constantly, but I don't really see. Okay, I see it. I see the dropping frames. By the way, that's all on the stream side. It's not on me playing side or anything. I don't really care, to be honest. The main function of these streams is just for me to play Minecraft and tell a story. The gameplay isn't actually really important. Not like if I'm like doing an MCC tournament or anything like that. That would suck if the gameplay was fucked, But yeah, it is lagging like every few seconds, and that is not good. And I actually don't know why that is. So I'm going to see what I can do about it. But for now, I'm going to try to keep shooting through it. I'm kind of going to wait for the rain to stop. I hate whenever I start Minecraft up, the PC starts making more noise. I hate that. I had paused the game and I was like, wait, I want time to pass. Why would I pause the game? Like, what? Illogical. But yeah, anyway, so continuing the story, as I kind of tend to suck at storytelling, that's probably why I haven't streamed this that much, and why when I did the storytelling over Sarfnic, I also didn't really stream much, because I'm really bad at storytelling. I don't really enjoy doing it, but whatever. Oh, there you go, sunrise. About to come in like a minute. Bloop. And you can be our little Billy the Valley. Bloop. Boop. So, anyhow, my brain is like not in the mood to do this right now. Well, maybe because I just was watching stuff for like an hour or two. Come on. Oh god, it's raining. I just realized. They won't burn. Yeah. There you go. Temporary home, so I can focus on telling the story. Yeah, it is lagging. I can't do anything about it, unfortunately. I'm actually going to restart OBS just so it does fix it, but we'll see if that actually works. Alright, I restart OBS. We'll see if that works or not. Probably not going to work. Okay, so let's continue. So, the day was Wednesday. Now, camp starts on Mondays. Except for the rare day where we have Mondays off, and then it's a Tuesday. But this is a Wednesday, so they already... it's the third day of camp, but it's my first day. So, I arrive, and meeting the office, I noticed that one of the people who signed up, one of the counselors from last year who was supposed to be here, wasn't here. The one that that my boss previously said that like they were busy with college, they didn't show up to our meeting or anything. Oh, there we go. They're burning to death now. We gotta be careful just in case anything happens. Don't want to like rush out and then die to them anyways, you know, while they're on fire. But I don't actually know what happened. I never decided to ask my boss, you know, but I guess she probably just pulled out last second. Sad. But either way, I arrive, and there was a weird rule. So for the first half of the camp, so like the first 4 weeks, not the second 4 weeks, that only one of the camp directors could be there at a time. It was to do with like not working their hours or whatever, getting too many hours. I guess they're limited on how many. Certain people aren't limited on how many hours they get. Like the inclusion aides for some reason can stay as long as they need, but I guess us counselors and the camp directors too, they can only stay a certain amount of hours. And so this time, my main boss wasn't gonna arrive there for like 2 hours. It was the turn of the assistant camp director, the one who I knew decently well from last year, who wasn't very nice. But yeah, I think obviously they were probably both there on the first day, but because this wasn't actually the first day, yeah, they would like trade off every day or something. So like, she probably came in early on Wednesday, and he came in early on. She probably came in early on Tuesday, and he came in late on Tuesday, and then yeah, they kind of swapped, I guess. But either way, it was my first day, and I remember going out there. I'm like, geez, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what kids are gonna be here. But I'm sure I was hoping for this one girl. If you remember from the story last time, there's this one girl who was really fun. I met at the sports camp, but she also did this camp too. And she's like, maybe I'll be back next year. I'm like, please come back. And I was waiting for her, but she wasn't there. She didn't come back then. But I remember seeing all these new kids and be like, oh my god. You know, they already had set up the tent, which was nice. I didn't have to worry about setting up the tent. And I was talking to them, and then we went out there. I got kind of like a tour. Okay, I'm kind of skipping ahead too much. So I talked to him, the assistant camp director. I'm just gonna refer to him as that, even though I would love to say his real name. I just can't, man. You know, just can't. I don't know why. I just can't. Because I don't want to give it away, and then it feels weird if I refer to someone as their real name. Because you guys don't even know my real name. So why would I tell you guys some random dude's name? You know. But I was like, hey, can you give me a tour at least? Because I have no idea where anything is. He's like, oh, everything's in the same place except the drama room is different now. So pretty much to explain it, we had like a counselor room, a counselor time room where the counselors do stuff. That was the same as last year. The office was the same as last year. The office, like it's not the show. No, not that show. No, the one that's apparently getting a reboot soon. Then there was. I need to go hunt food. Let's see, we also need to get a bed too, so I wouldn't mind killing some sheep. The music room was the same room. The gym, the gym's always the gym, but we use it a lot. Okay, dude, there's still fucking lag, dude. What the hell? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what it is. I can't do anything about it though. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't stop the lag. You just have to cope with it. It's probably just a Wi-Fi thing. Maybe it's just OBS being bitchy. Maybe I have like the wrong settings on or something. I don't know. OBS did reset my settings recently, which is a fucking pain to deal with. Hate when that happens. But since the last stream, they reset my settings. I see sheep here. I'm gonna kill him. Ooh, careful! Don't take fall damage, Sarfnic. Hey, sheepy. Bye, sheepy. I just need to kill 3 for a bed, and I'm good. I'm kind of like getting rid of the population, which isn't good though, but we'll find more. There's always more. You didn't even drop. Oh, you did. Okay. You dropped more than 1. You dropped 2. Nice. But yeah, I was pretty excited. And the only difference was they changed the drama room. The original drama room was my old kindergarten room I was talking about. But no, they actually switched it to a different room, but the different room is like smaller and overall worse. So that was a negative, by the way. But there's also a new room they had. They had a room for the little green pod kids, which I'll tell you, I never actually went inside until like the last week. Because, well, why I ever need to? I run the oldest group. But, however, camp began. And I got introduced to my group. Now my group was mostly new kids, except for 2 actually. There was this one boy who had needed a lot of special ed, to say the least. He was back, and also this one other boy too, who I think was 9 the previous year, but now he's 10 years old. Oh, and the other one I just mentioned was 10 last year. Now he's not 11, and he's about to start middle school. Yes, the camp allows people up to the age of 12, so you can be in the camp when you're starting 7th grade. There's more lag. I can't do anything about it, guys. I'm sorry. Do I have bones? Hear the cool Minecraft music. Yeah, this is probably not an enjoyable stream for anyone who's watching this in the present or the future. No one's watching in the past, I hope not. Because of the audio, and then also the stupid frames in games suck, but whatever, I can't do anything about it, guys. I promise you, if I could do something, I would. I try my best, it just won't fix. Sometimes it just has issues. And it can ruin content, I know, but whatever. This is kind of more about the storytelling than the gameplay anyways. So, yeah. But, yeah, if I continue. So, I wonder if I can do anything. Oh, that's a fake red, yeah. Oh, they're pollinating. Look at that. I'm going to see if I can quickly do something to fix the audio, at least. I tried to see if I could, like, cover up my PC to make it quieter, but hey, if I say pause like this, it won't make as much noise because it's not running Minecraft. And technically, I could tell the story better and better voice quality. I don't know. But, anyways, let me drink water quickly. God damn it. Okay, I'm gonna rant for a second here. So, this house is always hot as fuck. This apartment, I hate it so much. Like, right now it's at 76 degrees, so I just turn on the AC. But what sucks is my room is hotter than every other room, including my own brother's room. So my brother gets pissed when I make it cold, but I'm like, dude, do you not understand that my room is fucking a sauna? Which I hate because at my actual house, it's the exact same thing too. My room is the hottest room. And so it's just really unlucky that I always get the hottest room. Because I'm always just sweating to death, man. Oh my god. So I turn on the AC a little bit. It takes hours to settle unless I mess with it a lot. This is cute. Anyways, the PC sounds are going to come back, but I can't do anything about it, as you guys know. Probably swear I'm mad because I pushed him away. But, anyways, so, yeah, he returned, and this kid, I may add, he has a twin brother, but last year he was in the blue group. Until the second session, then he was actually in the red group with him, but then remember I left second session, so I didn't really experience that. But this time, he was in the red group for the whole 2 sessions. The cold streams, I like it that way. I would like it that way. For rooms, I prefer it to be cold. For outside temperature, I prefer it to be hot. This is a general rule. So I spawn there, so yeah. But anyways, yeah, I had this kid who was oh, by the way, fake round. I don't know if you know, but new Ninjago episodes just dropped today. Well, they kind of did. They kind of just like dropped on like an Indian TV channel, and because they're in English, because India speaks primarily English, they're out in English. And I watched like them. Not all of them came out, which is good because honestly, I'd rather have them drop slowly than have them drop all at once. You know, force myself to wait. I'm trying to do the parkour here. Wait, yeah, but out this. Oh, you haven't watched this? Okay, well, I'll tell you one thing. Season 15 is ass. But then once you get to Dragons Rising, which is not Season 16, it's a new show, Season 1 of Dragons Rising, you're going to have a great time, trust me. You're going to enjoy it, like, thoroughly. You're going to enjoy it. And these new episodes even more cemented my already existing opinion that the new series is good. Okay, there we go, I did it. Let's see if I can do it this way. Okay, well, I did it. There you go. That was just me flexing on you guys, okay? My MCC parkour skill. Someone like Dream or Fire Breath Man could probably do that pretty fast. Yeah. Anyhow, let's continue. So, this is gonna take forever to tell the story, guys. This is what I was thinking about like a couple days ago. It's gonna take forever to tell this story, but I'll try my best, I suppose. So, Yeah, he has he has he has three siblings. Okay, and only two of them actually went to camp last year. He had a younger sister, who's like, like 2 years younger, or whatever, maybe 3 years, 2 years, and she was there last year, and she was there this year. But also he had a sister who was like 4 years old last year, who I actually met. Like, I remember one time, like, she was in the back of the car last year, and he was like, probably last July. He was like, she's gonna be coming here next year. I'm like, cool. Let's see if that actually happens. It did happen. This girl's like 5 years old now. She's actually still 5 years old. I don't know why, but I'll mention it, but I think her birthday's in October. But anyways, their family is awesome. I fucking love those guys. And the first day was chaotic. There was one other girl who was there last year that was supposed to return, but she ended up pulling out last second. Like, my boss was like, they canceled. It's like, whatever. But yeah, other than that, there were new kids. Now, to describe the kids that were in my pod this time, it'll be hard. Okay, I'll talk about them as they come up, I suppose, because it'd be too much time. But I remember this first day. It was so weird. Because, yeah, I missed only 2 days. Other counselors missed like 7 or 5 or even 8 days. Some of them might even miss like 10 or 11 days in total. Or more like aides. And some counselors missed like that many days. But the first 2 days, missing the first 2 days of a camp is never good. Because that's when all the lore happens, you know, and you just join in and everyone knows the other counselors and they don't know who you are. But I was like, look, I'm me. I'm super good with kids. It'll be easy. Plus, I already know some of these kids. Like, soon it'll be like, I was never gone for the first few days. And yeah, it was like that soon, but at first it wasn't. You know? At first, some of the kids in my own group didn't know who I was. And I still remember this. The first class we went to was music that day. And we had 2 kids with the same name. And they were both, one of them was the one that was there last year who kind of had issues. But not issues. That makes it sound like he's a horrible kid. No. He's a nice kid. He just needs like extra support, you know? So he was there. And then there was also this new kid who didn't need extra support, but he had issues, to say the least. I'll say his kid had issues. And on the first day he had a tantrum. And I had to sit there and help him through it. And he didn't even know who I was. But don't worry, that kid knew who I was at the end of the camp. But that kid was, I'll say some kids were only there for the first 4 weeks, and some kids were there for 8 weeks. And he was one of the 4-week kids. But he was a tough kid to deal with, I'll tell you that. But he wasn't like autistic or anything. He just like was a tough kid. And so kind of like last year, a lot of kids in my group, the red group, had a lot of little siblings in the green group. And some of them had siblings in the blue group, but not as much. So this guy had a sister in the green group. And then obviously, yeah, I need to say, so the big group of siblings, the 4 kids, who 2 of them were in my group. The 2 boys are in my group because they're twins. One of the girls was in the blue group, and then one of the girls was in the green group. That's just to say. And none of them were in the purple group, because why would they be? That's 1 week. But, yeah. So, oh my god, how am I getting to this? So there were a lot of kids from last year that returned, I think during the first recess. And it's worth reminding you, this day was a cold day. It was a 60-degree day, almost in the 50s. And so I had never worn shorts or pants to work before, but people were wearing pants, and they were even wearing sweaters. So I remember the first time I reunited with the boy I had last year. We'll say he's a tall boy, because he comes from a tall family. He was a lot taller this year than last year. He was actually taller than some of the female counselors I was working with, which I thought was kind of funny. He's not taller than me yet, maybe, but he might be next year, so who knows. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. He was taller than me. It's kind of funny. But yeah, he was like wearing a sweater. And for some reason, the first time I saw him come out of his car, he looked a lot older. I don't know, because he was just wearing the sweater. Like he later on, and for the rest of the summer, he didn't look much older than me. But for some reason, that moment he looked a lot older, and he definitely had a slightly deeper voice. He was like, "Oh hey," like he knew my name immediately. I'm like, "Yo, you remember me?" He was like, "Oh yeah." And the first thing he saw, I was like, "I remember we saw you at the beach that one on the last day." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." He's like, "What camp were you with?" And I was like, "Oh, just a camp I was fucking sentenced to by my boss. You know, couldn't control it. It was cool." And this kid and I remember last year we had a lot of he would talk to me about a lot of weird stuff. He was the one who was into, this was the kid who was into origami Yoda fucking constantly, by the way, which he was not into this year. Like, he completely lost interest in that. Like, he didn't even do it once. But I did mention it to him a couple of times. Like, you used to be an origami Yoda, I remember. But he was one thing that was noticeable was this kid's brother needed a lot of help, but his parents, I guess, signed up too late, so they didn't get anyone to come in. But if they come back next year, 100% needs it. But he was a little weird last year. Like I remember my coworker got really pissed one time because he took so long in the bathroom, so I had to like talk to his dad, but like, hey, it wasn't me, but your coworker was like, yeah, he needs to speed up when he's taking a piss. Like he would take like 10 minutes to pee. It was like stupid. But this year he was like a lot more chill and like, I guess, normal. I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, big transition. But and like I remember last year a lot. Like there were a couple times like where he just wandered off. Like we were walking to the beach and he would like walk away. Most of that didn't really happen this year. A little bit of stuff like that happened. One of the aides I worked with was like, "Bro, I've told him to do something and he like did something else." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. That's just him. That's just his personality." Okay, but yeah, it was a complete difference. And so at the what's it called, the first recess. Remember, we always have morning recess, afternoon recess after lunch, and evening recess. But so as of the morning recess, we all kind of gathered, and you guys may remember the previous year. I talk about this a lot probably. I would push kids on the swing really high all the time, and they loved it. Oh my god, someone's moving stuff on. Yeah, we're good. And I did it a few times. I remember after I switched locations, I was really pissed off. I was like, oh, I wanted to push. It made me sore. My muscles would be sore, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. Like, thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, let's say I did it again this year, but it became a very popular thing of me. So on the first day already, I reunited with this one girl who I remember from last year. Primarily because, I don't know if I mentioned, but she was into the Sonic movie a lot, and she was into Poppy Playtime a lot. But none of which I don't think she was actually into this year. But I remember pushing all the kids, and obviously there was obviously there's no fucking. This is what I mean. It took me forever to explain everything in actual detail. Oh, this is gonna take years, guys. No. Oh my god. This is why the other one took like 5 streams, multiple, like probably like 6 hours to tell the whole story, just because of all this camp lore I had to go over. So you can come with me, sheep. So like, okay. So let me just start. Okay, I keep walking too fast, these guys. Gotta start somewhere. Okay. So, this girl. Yeah, that girl was back and she was there. Then, the older sister. It's doing 2 years. Yeah, I will in 2 years. Okay. The older sister of the kid I already had. She was there too. And I've also described these two girls. Sorry about the background noise. One thing I miss about my old mic is it didn't pick up background noise. Whatever. And there was the older girl who, the older of the... How do I describe this, dude? Without fucking saying names. You know, we'll call them... Dude, I don't know. Jesus Christ, man. I don't want to do the stupid cringe thing where you make up fake names. But fine, I'll just call I'll just say their last name. No one gives a shit if I say their last name. They were known as the Andrew family. That's their last name, okay? So the older girl Andrew, okay, who from last year, she was there too, and within that first day, I had a bunch of kids already liking my pushes because these kids, most of them didn't remember me at first. Like the Andrew girl, I remember on the second day she came to me, she's like, "So your brother told me all about you, or told you all about me, huh?" I was like, "Bro, I was here with you last year." But then later on, I remember like way later on, like during like the end of the camp, I remember she's like, "Oh, you saw my performance last year, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did." So I don't know. So she probably remembers me, but not right away. But these kids were chaotic. Actually, I remember this. Yeah, that girl specifically. I didn't really talk to her much because she was in the green group last year, but this year she was in the blue group. But I remember I barely talked to her during most of the camp session last year. But this year I talked to that girl a lot, I'll tell you that. And so I pushed a bunch of kids on the swing, and I have a really good tactic that no other counselors know. Like, none of them know how to push kids really high. Like if you remember the assistant camp director, that guy, he didn't know the strats. Okay, he didn't know the strats. I remember last year the kid's like, he doesn't push as high as you, and this year it still was the same. Sort of until later. Okay, whatever. Oh, I forgot. I can cook with this. Okay, whatever. So yeah, that's true. I started pushing high. Next thing you know, I had a bunch of kids lining up. Now it's worth mentioning there were a couple changes this year. There was a new thing introduced. I discovered this at the same time as the kids did, by the way. So my boss started hiding postcards around every day. In the morning, she'd hide 1 or 2 postcards at the camp, either inside, like on a ceiling of a wall, or like hidden under a chair, on the inside, I mean, or on the outside, like on the playground. And so there were 2 kids in my group, a boy and a girl, who I obviously didn't even know me yet. They didn't really know me back then. they like ventured off to search for the postcard. You know when you meet someone for the first time and you view them differently than like after you get to know them. I viewed these kids differently when the first time I met them than compared to after I got to know them after like a week. But yeah, it was this boy and girl. Now this girl, she was like 10 years old, I think. She had brown hair. My boss later told me that like during apparently the winter camp they run, which I don't really work. I don't think I'm gonna work winter camp, but she was at winter camp, and my boss was like she's my favorite kid, and she came back this summer, and my boss was like, I was so happy when I saw her on the roster. I'm like, great, yeah. I don't know this kid, but I bet she's good, and she was a really nice kid. She reminded me of the previous year. There was the girl who was the daughter of one of the high, like pretty much my boss's boss's boss. She reminded me of that girl a lot. And that girl will come back later. I'll mention that later, but not now. And she also looked a lot like, if you remember the previous year, there was a girl that was cousins with someone I actually knew. She looked a lot like that girl. So she was like, I always remember when I first met her, I was like thinking like, oh, she's like if you mix those 2 together, which I think is still a true statement. Yes, she is exactly like as if you mix those 2 together. Perfect. Now I have 2 sheep. I'm gonna shear them eventually, you know, stuff, and breed them once I get a second bit of wheat going, whatever. But yeah, how's the house looking so far? I'm thinking we could do like a little special staircase thing. It's kind of ineffective for rails, to be honest. Whatever, I don't want to waste durability in my axe, so I'm just not breaking my fist. But yeah, I really she was a pretty nice kid from what I knew, but they were looking for the postcard. But for some reason they walked, like they were both like walking alone together, and it was a boy. And the boy, he was we'll say he was the nice kid in our group. He was a very kind of a small kid, and he was like 8 years old. Surprised he was in my group since he was 8, but whatever. But he was really nice, and they were walking together looking for the postcard. I remember at the time I was like, ooh, maybe they got a thing for each other, which I shouldn't have thought because that was not true at all. They were both very interested in looking for the postcard. Anyways, I don't really remember, but apparently the girl was really good. Well, let's call her the nice girl, too. The nice girl and nice boy, okay? They weren't related, by the way. The nice girl was a 4-week kid, and the nice boy was how do I say it? A 8-week kid. And for the sake of, like, I don't really want to invent a name system for this. I'm probably just gonna, like, refer to each kid by who they are, like, instead of saying, like, this is da-da-da, or kid A did this and kid B did this. I'll be like, the kid who did da-da-da-da earlier in the story was this kid, and they did this now in the present side of the story, okay? Yes, that's all I'm gonna do. Oh, baby's born. First thing you do is eat. Ungrateful child. Either way, we have reproduced, which is, well, I haven't reproduced. The sheep have reproduced. Okay, cool. What I want now is sand. Why, you may ask? Why isn't it floating? Why, I have indeed asked. Okay, give it to me. Woo! We're gonna make glass. I think we need 6. Well, let's get digging. Make glass panes more specifically. I think glass panes are better. Plus, you get more for your price, you know. But yeah. Okay, we almost took damage there, but we didn't, which is good. But there we go. We're done. We're done. There we go. You're developing a house. So beautiful. And again, let's smelt it up. Shoo. Let me do you. You if any more comes required. And we get sleep, and we don't have to worry about monsters. Until we get a good food source, I think this is the way. Do you know the way to Zimbabwe? That was an old, funny 2018 meme. So, continuing on, there is a lot to go over. So, at the recess, the first recess, the morning recess, I can't recall too much. I just remember walking around and being very happy to see some of these kids again. I can talk about a lot of things from here. This first day is going to probably take the longest of any day to narrate just because I have to explain everything and set up everything. So it makes sense there on the story. Because I like to tell the story in chronological order, so yeah. Mostly chronological order. I might jump back and forth a couple of times or like give information about something. So there was like one of the new counselor aide people was there. And at first I saw him, I was like, whatever. I saw him in the office during the morning before we started work. But then I recognized him, and so while we were out that first time, I started talking to him. And I realized he's someone I knew from high school. But not only high school. Back in like 2015, we had a camp together. And he was like, oh, I was like, do you remember da-da-da-da-da-da? And people he knew, and he's like, sorry, after the pandemic, this is the first sign this person's fucking weirdo, by the way. It's like, after the pandemic, I just forgot everyone. And, except for my close friend group. I'm like, you forgot everyone? He's like, oh, I do remember doing that camp, though, but I don't remember you. It's like, whatever, dude. He had a little brother, I remember, but I asked him about his brother once, and he didn't really say much, so, yeah, I never asked him about his brother again. I don't know how that kid's doing. Most of my friends' little brothers, who I used to know in the past, but I still know the friend, who's the older brother, I have no idea about. But, anyways. So, I was like, cool, well, cool to see I'm working with a familiar face here. And let's just say this guy is a weirdo. He gives weird vibes. But he's like but he used to not be a weirdo when I knew him, Back in summer of 2015. So, it's been 8 years since we've really had a full conversation, although we did go to high school together. He knows my good friend that I always hang out with. And I even asked him about that one time because I remember later on I hung out with my friends. See, this is me example of me breaking chronology. Sometimes I'll break chronology, but not always. I'll have a relative present, and sometimes I'll go to the past and future depending on what's happening. So, yeah, here's an example of me going to the future. Later on I was hanging out with my friends, like my best friend. And I asked him, and he's like, oh, yeah, I knew that dude. Of course I did. We went to school together. And I asked him at work later on. He's like, yeah, I remember him. So at least he remembers some people. Not a lot of people, though. I remember saying, oh, you remember him, don't you? He's like, well, I went to elementary school with him. I've known him for so long. I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But still, how do you not remember me, man? I'm offended. I was going to make a rooftop here, but now I'm going to make it 2 floors because I already built the staircase. So, yeah. It's not a good-looking house, but it is a house I'm proud of, Like, I kind of given up on, like, building beautiful-looking stuff in Minecraft. I think it's just fine to build something substantial and decorated a bit later. Especially when it's a starter base, right? You don't need to go off on a starter base necessarily. But yeah, so I was there. And then I remember my boss pulled up. Now it's important though, it's a Wednesday, right? So one theme that was kept from other years that I've worked camp was Wacky Wednesdays. There was a costume contest. Now I did not dress up for this Wacky Wednesday because it was my first day. But it was a theme of celebrities. And so one girl who I remember from last year's first session was there, who I never spoke to. I remember she was dressed up as like a famous actress. I remember my coworker, one who was like transgender, was dressed up apparently as Adam Sandler, which is weird. No way, you already grown up. Oh my god, you've grown up like it's nothing. So what are you doing? Anyways, it's cool to see that he's grown up so fast. That baby literally grew up way faster than I was expecting. Oh my god. It's probably a rarity. Maybe it's I slept, who knows. But, yeah, I was excited to be back. And then my boss pulled up, who I had seen just like 8 days earlier. For some reason, she was like, oh my god, I'm glad you're here. And then we had a hug. It was like, bro, alright, well, that's a good welcome back. No privacy for sheep. Even your own family? Jesus. Well, I guess I am looking at them like, oh, grew up. Anyways, farm me wool and die. But yeah, it was a cool moment. I guess the the camps tend to be understaffed, so I wouldn't blame them for being too excited for having me around. Especially because the green pod counselor was also gone the previous day, or he was gone Monday, so we were both gone on Monday. But he was there Tuesday. I remember talking to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. You're back. Welcome back." He was like, "You were at a wedding, right?" I'm like, "No, it was a graduation, but thanks for trying, I guess, man." Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a window here too. But yeah, seems like everyone had settled in, and it's my turn to settle in. So yeah, our first class was music. I kind of got to know some of the kids in our group better. But one thing was, I remember at the start, when I just knocked my water bottle. 1 second. I was drink from it now. Good news is the lag apparently stopped, so it's good. I don't deal with that anymore. I actually see my footage as it is and not as lag. There was a girl from last year who I saw off the bat. I was like, oh my god, I remember her, but she wasn't from this camp last year. She was from I did the camp for 3 days, if you remember, and there was this girl I said reminded me of Anna Sophia Robb's character from Bridge to Terabithia. She was there, but she was in the blue group. Her and her cousin were in the blue group. And I was like, oh my god. I remember coming to her, I'm like, do you remember me or something like that? And she just didn't seem to care. I was like, whatever. She probably doesn't remember me. Again, well, we'll see about that later. But anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And all I remember was, her, she was a girl who I pushed on the tire swing a lot, to say the least. And she, apparently her cousin that she goes to camp with, I remember she had, like, I guess the cousin's dad picked her up one time last year. I remember he said, oh, she's not from here. She just comes to stay with us every summer and do the camps or whatever. And I remember thinking she was like from Connecticut or New York or something, which is not true. I'll find out what she's from. I'll find out what she's from later. But yeah, this girl is back. And I was like, oh my god. I remember saying to someone, I think it was probably the green council, like, I remember that girl, or I know that girl. And they're like, whatever. So it was a very exciting moment. But anyways, later on in the day, my boss approached me. She's like, oh yeah, by the way, that girl's 11 years old. I'm like, wait, oh my god, she's 11-year-old? She's like, oh yeah, she's 11, so she apparently, it was a mistake that we put her in the blue group. She snuck in. And she was like, oh yeah, so we're gonna move her to the red group, my group. I'm like, okay, great. And so I did something I shouldn't have. So like later on in the day, probably like during like either the afternoon recess or the noon recess or the afternoon recess. I guess it was probably like afternoon recess. She was running around. I was like, oh yeah, hey kid, and she like stopped talking to me for a and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, you're in my group now. And she was like, wait, what? She seemed a little sad. And then later on, I kind of just forgot about it. And later on, I remember she said that in front of me and my boss. And my boss was like, okay, I'll explain. I was going to tell you later. I was like, oh, damn, I should have told her then, bro. But whatever. It's fine. But, yes, she was there. And she, I guess, accordingly, over the past few days, had befriended some of the mean girls at this camp. Why is my face in a bush right now? So you may remember last year there was this one girl who was really mean. I barely knew her, but she was in the green group last year and she was in the blue group this year. Pretty much all the kids that were in the green group last year had ascended to the blue group. As the green group was like new little kids, you know. I guess she was 7 the previous year, but now she was 8. Although her birthday was actually on the camp day. Her birthday was like June 28th, both years. So I remember that. But she was, I guess she had befriended her. And then also there was another girl in the blue group. And those two created a bad duo. I remember last year they were not together the first session, but the second session they were put together. And it angered the counselor who was now the green group teacher. Yeah, this girl was bad. I remember at the end of the year when their music teacher abandoned them, my boss was telling me at one of the barbecues, like, oh yeah, that girl was making fun of him, calling him a traitor and all that. So yeah, she was a mean kid, to say the least, this girl. Mean kid. And I'll discover later on, in the story, she is very much a mean kid, this girl. But that's for later, not for now. I need to get food. I need a fucking food source or else I'm gonna die. So we need to work on this. I don't want to kill y'all just yet, but I might have to kill one of these guys. Do you have any iron to make shears? So I can at least get like a carpet. Yeah, we'll see. But she had befriended that girl. Anyway, it's time to meet the cast. So the music teacher was this really quiet girl. Like, really quiet, introvert. Probably the most quiet out of all the people that worked with us this summer. And, yeah, let's just say she barely talked. Skipping the future for a second. After camp. I need to breathe for a second. It's so hot in my room. I hate fucking how hot it is here. But after the camp year ended, most of us added, except for two of the people, but I'm not gonna get to that yet, added each other on Instagram, and I discovered she was actually a sorority girl. I'm like, wait, what? The most like introverted sorority girl I met. Let's go. But yeah, she was very quiet. And then I went to, I think we either had art or music next. I actually have no idea what we had next. I just remember that we had music first. So there was an art teacher. Now, if you remember the previous year, the art teacher was another person I really didn't like. We didn't get along well. She was kind of like a they. They were like a they, them. It was very mean and overall just an annoying person. They had worked there like a bunch of years in a row. Well, we had a new one this year. Who I remember at first, because I wasn't there the previous 2 days, didn't even think I was a counselor, thought that the transgender aide was actually a counselor. But no, it was me. I was like, yeah, hey, I'm the counselor. I'm the counselor for the red group. I was just 2 days late. I'm like, oh, hello. But this person, I'll tell you that, this art teacher was fucking awesome. I fucking loved them. They said they might work next year, and I hope to see them next year. The fucking awesome person, such a G, so nice, awesome. I don't know how to describe them. I guess I should describe them. The music teacher was like a white girl. This person was she looked Caribbean, like obviously like African Caribbean, but like not like dark skin African, not like dark skin black, but she was really cool. I fucking love this person. And then we had a drama teacher who at first I had a bad impression on, because look, as much as first impressions go, she was from like China, right? Not a reason to hate her, but I guess in China, you're used to having kids who are not as chaotic, and so she would always like at the first few days be like complaining about the kids, like, oh, these kids are so loud and annoying. Everyone be quiet. And I was like, good impression, no. But later on, she ended up being chill. So yeah, these better be on the same. Okay, they are good. She's gonna move you one over, and you one over too, just for balance sake. Yeah, she looks good. It seems like a house I'd build in Valheim, but it's actually nice. Did a good job with the house. We're gonna fast forward days, aren't we? But whatever. But yeah, she was from China. I remember on the first day, she was already like, that the one girl who the mean girl duo was already really pissing her off. For some reason, she worked the post care, so there was post care, and only one of the directors would work it. The other one would go home. The one who arrived in the morning would go home, and the one that arrived late would stay after. That's the maximum hours thing. So this day, theoretically, the main camp director stayed while the assistant one went home early. Whatever. And all the other counselors would go home, except for the drama teacher and one of the, I think two of the aides. The transgender one in my group, and a different one who's also transgender. Both of them would stay. That was working in the purple group. So, yeah. What was I talking about, though? I was talking about teachers. Oh, yeah. Drama was fun. The drama teacher, she was actually, she's pretty good looking. She was from China, and I don't have things against people from China, because literally just the previous semester, the semester I just completed, and also this semester, too, the same person came back. I had a class with a Chinese international student, so I don't really hate Chinese people or anything, no. But I do have a bad view of China as a country. That's worth saying, at least. I'm going to chop this down. But this girl kind of changed my mind after I met her. She was pretty fucking cool. But she did overreact a lot when kids would, like, act up. She'd be like, everyone be quiet. I'm like, oh my god, you need to chill out. But later on, one of my coworkers said, shut. And so in the afternoon, for some reason, not just for this week, but this only happened for this week, another counselor arrived. And her name was, actually, why would I say her name? So my group had fucking 4 adults working it. And the other groups had like 1 adult, 2 adults. I'm like, come on, man, what the fuck is this? You know, the blue group had 1 adult. That's it. The female counselor, just a chill female counselor. And then the green group had, obviously, the male counselor and then the female teacher working it. And the purple group had one of the cool counselors who came back from last year. And at the time, there was also an aide. But at the time, that was it. More people come later, obviously. But whatever. I'll get into that later. The story's gonna take fucking forever. Okay, strap in. I'm definitely not gonna finish it. I'm gonna tell the story of maybe the first week today, and that's it. I'm gonna stop. I need to get food, seriously, or else I'm gonna fucking die. Let's kill some cows. Let's make a boat so I can kill them easier. But yeah, why am I struggling? There's another point where I need to regather my thoughts, as always, when I'm telling a story. I'm probably not doing this the most efficient way. I could have told it in chronological order, but I don't really remember. What's weird is the first... I can still remember a lot of what happened last year, but for some reason with this year, even though it's more recent, the first 4 weeks blur together. Extremely blur together. But the last 4 weeks I remember a lot of details of. So it's kind of weird this year, you know? But, you know, it was 3 days. It was very cold these 3 days. So I remember going out and pushing kids on the swing, and I'd be freezing my butt off. But I'll go through the groups now. So there was my group, the red group. We obviously had the 2 boys from last year. Technically 3 boys from last year, actually, I guess the twins. Then we had this one nice boy. Then we had this one boy who was always trouble for us, you know? On the first day, he refused to get up from this chair and music. It was really chaotic. Then we had this nice boy. He was very nice. He had a little brother in the green group, and his dad was just a really nice guy. And he was good friends with this nice girl. And they, how do I say it? They were both Zelda fans, and they would talk to the art teacher about it, and she even let them play on their Nintendo Switch that she brought, which I was like, that's against the rules. Like, if my boss, not the camp director, but the camp organizer saw that, she would get mad, but I'm not gonna fucking snitch. I'm not a snitch. Go have fun, kids, you know? That's what I was like about it. But, then there was a girl that apparently had come on the first day, but she wouldn't come back for the second week because she was sick. I was like, shit, what if she never comes back? But don't worry, she came back the second week, but she was in our group. But she came on the first day and then was sick, and she never came back. Oh, I see a honey. Or a hive. There we go. I was trying to, like, boat clutch, sort of. I could kill fish and eat them. We can talk about the mean girl you mentioned. Oh, dude, this is going to take me forever. I'm trying to go in, like, probably in, like, a few streams, because she doesn't really become relevant until, like, the second session. But there's this really mean girl, okay, who was from last year, who was extra mean this year, okay? I'll say that. But even then, I wouldn't say she was the meanest girl. Yeah, I'll get into it later, don't worry, okay? But she was in the blue group for the first session, so don't even worry about her. Okay, she was in the blue group. I talked to her, like, maybe a couple times. I don't know. I don't remember every fucking detail of every conversation I have with people, unfortunately. I kind of wish I did, though. It's so weird, because I remembered, the first year was more memorable. Like, I feel like this year a lot of it blended together, and I kind of forgot. And I'm probably going to tell this story and remember things as I go and be like, oh, wait, I forgot to mention, in week 1, like, while I'm like in week 5 or something, but whatever. I'm happy that you're enjoying the story, though. It's very slow and very hard, because I'm a really bad storyteller. What I should have probably done is just, like, said, okay, well, I wouldn't have, like, foresight. I wouldn't be able to say, like, oh, this person I knew, I later on discovered they were, a sorority girl. I wouldn't be able to say that, but maybe, like, I should have, like, been telling the story as it happened this summer. I kind of thought about that, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But, you know, it would have been better for immersing you guys in the narrative, you know? But whatever. I made my choice, whatever. So, this was still, like, June 14th, June 15th, and June 16th, 2023. So, I don't know if you knew who I was, Fake Red, but a lot of people that are new to the channel actually were following me by then. So, just plant some sugarcane. Kind of like making a little island here with sugarcane. But, yeah, the first week it went by fast. It makes sense. It was only 3 days for me, you know? And it was very cold this week, which wasn't true for the rest of the summer. It's just a very complex story. It was fast when I was talking about, like, me going to Wyoming and all that, because that was easy, short. But when you're talking about 8 weeks worth of, like, summer camp, and you barely remember the first 3 weeks, first 4 weeks technically, it's hard, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna try to finish up the first week, and then I'm probably gonna end stream because I'm tired. But and hot, my room's hot. And also I have to prepare for tomorrow because I'm actually going on a plane tomorrow and waking up at 4 a.m. So the time is 5:54 p.m. I'm gonna be awake in 12 hours, guys. It's gonna suck ass. Anyways, plus I want to get a YouTube video out for them. So. Okay, now let's work on extending the farms. Let's see if we can get the cows captured too. Happy I was able to get the salmon though, not salmon. I was gonna say salmon. Oh my god. Do I have iron though? Shit. Okay, the burp. Okay, we'll build a second farm back here. That's too small. But yeah, thank you for enjoying the story. I'm happy that people are on the stream actually watching. While I go off about my life. So, I guess I'll get into the swing stuff. I don't really remember how it happened, but within the first 2 days, people already were lining up for my swing pushes because I can push kids really high, but to the point where it gets dangerous. Like, this thing starts shaking. I remember, I probably mentioned this when I was telling the story of last year, too. I was surprised my boss never got mad at me for it. This year, I had some coworkers say, hey, dude, calm down. You're going too much. But my boss still never was like, hey, dude, slow down. But either way, the previous year, no kids ever got injured, and this year it did not happen either. You see, that's called foresight. If I was telling the story as it happened, like I was thinking of doing, it would be like, no kids have been injured yet. It would be more present tense and less past tense. But I think it's just worth saying. All this happened after I finished telling the story of last year. Because I told the story of last year from like September to May over a bunch of like 6 different streams. So all of that, back then I had no idea what would happen now. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool, you know? It is still an ever-going story. And obviously I'm telling this before next year happens at camp, if I even do next year at camp. Which is like a 50% chance I'm going to do it or not. I know they'll let me do it, but I'm just worried that my parents would be like, what the fuck? You know? Okay, you know what? We're going to actually not gather you because... Oh. Okay, I thought that was a ominous sound for a second, but it wasn't. I need to get a waypoint map going so I can see like, where we are and like, recognize terrain eventually. So now I think my house is that way. There it is. Okay, yeah, forget you. Okay, we can run. We have food and we actually have... Yeah. I thought I saw a cow there for a second. Whatever. Program torch out there. Eat up, boy. Grow up soon. Don't grow up as fast as your sibling did, though. Or maybe you weren't a sibling. Maybe I breeded the sheep that was the sibling, or the son, or daughter of the other sheeps. You know, that might be bad. No incest. I don't want to think about incest. Okay, we'll sleep and then do it. But... yeah, I'm kind of gathering my thoughts. That's why I'm not really telling the story right now. Sorry, I need to gather my thoughts for a second. Alright, let's continue. So, yeah, I would start having kids lining up. Now, a lot of the old kids remembered I used to push high, but... a lot of them had forgotten. So I'd push them and they'd be like, oh my god, you pushed so high! And I remember on the first day I was pushing the really innocent girl from last year who was really into Sonic and Huggy Wuggy last year. But never even mentioned them this year, which I think is interesting. She really was there enjoying it. And obviously the older sister of the Andrew family was there too. And there were a couple other kids. Okay, here's what I was going to do. I'll tell the story about each group just so it's easy to understand. Okay, so group 1... my group, red group, had all the people I just mentioned. I was talking about the girl who was 7 years old, and she hadn't, she had came the first day, but she was sick, so she missed the rest of that week. Did I miss anyone else? No. Okay, I don't think I missed anyone else. I hope I didn't miss anyone else. Okay, and then there was, if you go down the list, there was the blue group, which had a lot of the kids from the green group last year, had advanced up. There was the 2 mean girls. One of the mean girls is the younger sister of the oldest kid in my group. Yeah, I'll refer to him as the oldest kid. He has minor issues, but I feel like that's a little weird to say, so I'll just say he's the oldest kid in our group. Yeah, the younger sister of him. And then there was Yeah, so there's the other mean girl who I remember from last year. Mean girl, I'll tell you that. Fucking mean girl. And she has a younger brother who wasn't around last year, but is around this year, who's in the green group. Then there was one girl that was in the blue group last year, who I barely knew. And then there was a girl who was notable. So last year, she was in the green group last year, but I barely talked to her. But she was only in there for the first session, right? However, this year she was in the blue group, and she was here for both sessions. So that's a bit of future sight right there. She stayed for 8 weeks instead of 4 weeks. But she was also at the sports camp from last year. And I barely knew her when she was in the green group last year, because she was a very not talkative kid. But this year, I talked to her a lot. Primarily because, well, she was in the sports camp last year. She had a friend, I remember, who I described in a very interesting way. if you watch the other streams. But yeah, I remember this girl I used to like lift around a lot, and she was at the sports camp. She was fun. She was back. And then there were, and she was good friends with the girl who was in the blue group last year, who was just to describe. I barely talked to her. I don't know how to describe her, so I'll just say I think she kind of had red hair. That's all I can describe her as, really. And those two became friends, but I remember last year they never even talked, well, mainly because they were different groups, but that's kind of weird that they're friends this time, right? Then there were a couple others. There was the older sibling of the Andrew family, I think I mentioned. I remember from last year. She was in that group. And immediately off the bat, shit-talking me. Which is, like, in a kid way, though, so it's not, like, actual shit-talking. So, yeah. She was a bit of a fun one, I'll tell you that. And I barely talked to her last year, as I remember. But she existed. And then there were probably a couple others I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, there's this one girl who looked just like a girl from last year. And so at one point I approached her, I'm like, hey, are you siblings with that, And she was like, I don't even know them. I'm an only child. I thought it was so funny. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But she was actually a really nice kid, so. But I think for the first few weeks I didn't talk to her, so this is me doing foresight again, where it's like probably like week 2 or 3 where I approach her. I'm like, hey, you're siblings with da-da-da, right? She's like, I'm an only child. But it was like funny. She's like, I don't know anyone else. I'm an only child. I don't have any siblings. I'm like, whoops. Sorry about that one. This is super funny. Fun summer camp memories, I'll tell you that. That's scary for a second, the sheep eating. We got Sweet Dreams and we got Parrots in the Bat. I wonder what our progress on some of these are. We got Monster Hunter, we got Sweet Dreams, and we got Plant a Seed and Parrots and Bats. Yeah, and then we got some of this. Let's continue. Let's start going. Oh my god, it scared me. So I thought there was gonna be like a bunch entering because I heard the one from the right side too. But let's go mining. Anyways, so those are all the people I remember that were in this group. Some of them were only around for 4 weeks, so I'll mention which ones were gone later. Unless I foresight it, like I did say with a couple other people. Destroyed that one, this one, which I didn't destroy, but whatever. So, continuing on anyways. Grab this copper. Oh. Oh no, my mine. No, it's destroying every torch. That sucks. Let's go fix it. Actually, we have to go down to the bottom to even fix it because we need the torches that were destroyed. I said laying down the side, like right here. There's a lot. Oh god, that bunch went down there too. We'll wait for the water to subside, I'd say at least. Okay, well that's good enough for now. Get the other bunch in a bit. So now I want to keep mining for iron. I need buckets and, well, I don't have a bucket. I need shears and all that stuff. So, then there's the green group. The youngest group. Now this group is like 5 to 6 year olds, and blue group I forgot to mention is like 8 to 9 year olds, 7 to 8 year olds, and then my group it's 9 to 11 year olds, could fit a 12-year-old if a 12-year-old ever showed up. And there are some 7, 8-year-olds in my group too, which is weird. And I heard later on someone questioning, why are we in the blue group? I'm like, I don't know. My boss just put you in here, I guess, because maybe there are too many people in the blue group or whatever. God, I bet I've wrecked the fucking lush cave too. Wait. Oh, the lush cave was on the other world. I was like, isn't there a lush cave down here? Nope, it's on the other world. There we go. There are 2 extra torches that I guess I put somewhere later on. Let's get to mining. What level are we on? 38. That's fine for finding iron, I guess. But yeah, so the green group had a lot of younger siblings of kids in the red and or blue group. So there is the youngest of the Andrew kids, the younger sister, who I had just met for the first time. And I don't remember our first interactions, but I'll tell you about some of our interactions later on. She was kind of a shy kid, that's one thing. Unless she was on the playground. Now, look, kids from the other groups, I only really ever get to spend time with if we're on the playground. Like, you know, I see them passing from classes or activities, whatever. But other than that, and sometimes maybe, like, they'll do a merge, or they'll merge blue and red group, and red and purple group sometimes. They never merged green and red group, though. That's the only merge they never did. So that was stupid, but whatever. But red multiple times merged with blue, and red multiple times merged with purple as well. But what's weird is red and green never merged. So purple and green merged, and blue and green merged, but red and green never merged, most likely because we're the oldest kids and they're the youngest. But that also means that purple and blue never merged, so that was weird. But yeah, so anyways, back to it. Green group had that girl. Then it had a lot of... Green group was the kid... I mean, obviously purple group is 1 week, so I can't really say this, but out of the permanent kids... Green group had the kids that really I knew the least. A lot of them were like little kids I barely spoke to. Especially the second session. But this first session, it was weird because some kids arrived like week 3 and they stayed the whole session, the whole rest of the camp year until like week 8. So it's kind of hard to know, but also notable ones. Then there was the mean girl, let's say at least. She had a little brother who actually had an aide, who was the person I knew from high school. And so he was in green along with the green counselor and the green teacher as well. And this kid was crazy. Like, this kid was on, like, dopamine levels. I don't even know. But I didn't really get to know him the first few weeks. But after that, let's say I knew this kid pretty well. Then there was this one boy. Nice boy. Nothing more to say about. He'll probably never be mentioned again. Although I know his name because I heard his name so much. But other than that, he was a completely irrelevant character. Then who else was there? There were a couple other kids, but I don't fucking remember them. I said all the notable ones, okay? For now. Kids' notable ones for now. So yeah. Anyhow, continuing on, there was the purple group. Now the purple group changes every week. The first week, I remember there was this one girl and her sister. Her older sister was only there for a week because then she was going to do sleepaway camp. But her younger sister, she was going to stick around for 3 weeks. And, yeah, I don't know if that's financially responsible because the purple group costs less money, but if you pay for 4 weeks of the purple group, it costs more than just paying for the 4-week program. So, yeah, I don't know. But, oh, I just remembered. There was one girl that was notable from the blue group. So the blue group had this other girl who was friends with the mean girls, who I didn't really know well. I don't know if she did last year. She might have, I don't know. But she was a very interesting kid, you know? Very cute kid, but very mean girl. And she had a little brother who was in the green group who I never really talked to. And they were part of, like, a lot of these kids were in the after group, you know? And the blue group did have the girl that I remember from week 5 of last year who went to a different camp, but she switched to my group. But it had her cousin who was there. Who, what's funny is they were only there for the first 4 weeks. But it wasn't until week 4 until I actually learned her cousin's name. And she was always, like, making fun of me. She's like, you did another camp with me. You don't even know my name. And I'm like, I'm just bad with names, dude. I'm really bad with names. But, like, it's weird. And it has already happened at school now. The new semester. But it happened there then, too. It's like, so I'm really bad at knowing names. Like, when someone tells me, hey, my name's I won't remember it. Even if you do it, like, 6 times over, like, a week, I won't remember it. But then once I know your name, I'll never forget it. Like all these kids I'm telling you about, I remember all their names pretty much. I'm not telling you their names. That's weird, but it violates very obvious privacy. Except I did tell some last year. I might slip up and tell a couple names this year. I am telling the last name of one family just because it makes it easier to talk about them. But yeah, I remember all their names, even the ones I didn't remember right away. So once I know a name, I'll never forget it, pretty much. But at first, it's hard for me to learn names, like new names. It's happened especially at college recently. All the people I've met this past week, keep track of their names is so hard. But yeah, so this was a fun start, and then the purple group had this other girl and her sister, and it was a little weird because they would be here for the first week, and then they didn't come back until week 5, and they stayed for the rest of the camp. Oh, and there was one kid in the blue group. There was another kid in the blue group I mentioned. He was the boy. He was a boy, not the boy. Well, he was the boy. He was the only boy in the blue group for the entire session, and he was like, I think he was Indian. I was like, oh my god, at summer camp I get to actually meet an Indian. My hometown is like very little to no Indians, so it's kind of wild seeing an Indian. But he was the only ever Indian that I ever saw at summer camp that whole entire summer. I thought that was funny. But yeah, and he was the only other ever boy in that group too. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there was this other girl, this one blonde girl who was in... Oh, I forgot a bunch of people actually, wait. This one blonde girl who was in the blue group that was also in the blue group last year. She was there, and she was a really nice girl, but there's not much to talk about her till later, I guess. Then there was... I forgot to mention the girl who was really into Huggy Wuggy last year was also in the blue group. And there were probably others, but right now I can't remember. Why can't I make this jump? I think that was weird. I don't know why I failed that so much. I was going to chop down some extra trees. I should probably do it. But yeah, that's everyone now from the blue group. And the purple group had some other kids, but I don't really remember the first... I can tell you all the kids from the purple group week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8, but I can't really remember the first few weeks. They kind of blend together, so I'm sorry. I don't really remember who else was in it, but not a lot of recognizable kids, you know, a bunch of random kids. That's how I'll describe it. So then, you know, time went on, and eventually, yeah, so the first costume contest happened, which was celebrities. My boss dressed up in like a really cool way, like Justin Bieber kind of. I don't remember a lot of the costumes from this week other than Adam Sandler, and for some reason I remember what the redheaded girl was wearing, and that's right about it. And the costume contest worked a bit differently. We did it in the gym now, which I think we did it in the gym sometimes. We also did it outside. But also this time, instead of being my boss just picking everyone herself, she actually would convene with all the counselors and aides, pretty much all the adults, and then decide. And so I don't remember who won, but someone won. And postcards were found. I don't really remember who found what postcards this week. I think the nice girl in my group found the postcard at some point during the first few weeks. Twice, I think, overall in the first 4 weeks she was actually present for. Don't know why I dropped that. Okay, I don't know why I dropped that. But Thursday was the next day. It was cold again. I don't remember what happened. And then Friday happened next, and it was supposed to be a beach day, right? Well, guess what? It was really cold, and apparently the water was closed. And so my boss was like, hey, we'll just do a sand day. I'm like, and we'll go to the playground. And if you remember, I worked at that beach at the end of the summer. I worked at a camp there. And there's a playground either. It's a really fun playground. And we also went there for the sports camp too. And she was like, oh yeah, we're going to go play at that playground. I was like, yes, that sounds fun. And she's like, oh wait, never mind, guys. The beach is closed. I'm like, aw. She's like, oh, we're going to play at the playground and maybe build sand castles. Never mind, the beach is closed because apparently they're doing some training thing. I was like, shit. So instead we watched a movie, and they turned on Enchanted. And we always watch our movies in the gym, by the way. And it was an ass movie. Out of all the movies you watch for summer camp between both years, I did not like watching Enchanted. It's not my type of movie. And so I was like, well, that sucks. That's bad. But anyways, so now I actually will keep telling the story. I'll tell the story of this weekend, too. Then came... not Memorial Day. It was Juneteenth weekend. What's weird is last year at summer camp, we didn't have Juneteenth off. But this time it actually became official holiday, so it was a 3-day weekend. To say the least. Oh, hello. You're going to sell me some wares, aren't you? Well, I don't have any emeralds, so I can't really... probably won't be able to accept any of this stuff, but... Yeah, it's kind of cool to get... That is a scam, if I had to say so myself. That is a fucking scam. Oh, whatever. Moving on. And so we watched this movie, and, you know, there's a lot of kissing if you ever see Enchanted. And all the kids be like, ew! And I remember the assistant director coworker of mine was like, why are kids doing that? Like, I thought kids usually love to see kissing. Why are the kids, like, shielding themselves from it? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to complain about that, but, yeah, that is interesting, you know? Psychology. How do they already have that much copper? What the fudge? Anyways, so, oh, I should plant more. Yeah, we should probably sleep first, though. Some chickens and pigs down the road. We need potatoes to get potatoes or carrots to get pigs, though, so we have to grab the cows next. I want to say. I smelled the iron too. Anyhow, so I don't fucking goddamn, I don't have. Those are gonna burn fast. I don't have coal. Rip. Not from Ninjago, from this game, okay? But you see, I'm starting to lose my. This is what happens. I start to lose my mind. I can't tell the story. I start to lose track and lose concentration. That's why I'm so bad at telling stories. But this whole time, my grandma from Florida was here. It was my mom's dad, or my dad's mom. What the fuck? Completely flipped that. My mom's dad unfortunately died in 2021 and is still dead and will be dead forever. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Never got to see me being a camp counselor, but I do thank my a little bit of a side thing. My mom's dad for everything he did. He never really got to see that I was good with kids, but at his funeral, one of my cousins was there and I did play with her and we had such a really great time. So he gave me that reward, I consider. He gave me a beautiful afternoon. So I think he knew I think he knows, wherever he is now, he knows I'm really good with kids and probably admires it. But my grandma, my mom's mom, she knows I'm pretty good with kids, and my dad's mom too, who was here. But yeah, so what happened is I have my grandma, anyways, from now time with the grandma from my dad's side, who is here. She has a sister who has a daughter who's like my aunt, and has another daughter who's my cousin who lives in Boston now. But anyways, they live in the same town as us, pretty much. Live on the outskirts, but live in the same town, pretty much. And every year, her mom comes from and dad come from India, and they did it last year. Previously, like they did it. I remember in 2022. I might have told this when I was telling the story of summer 2022. One point in like May 2022, we went to like Chinatown with them, and then I remember we had dinner the day before I started being a camp counselor last year, like June 12th of 2022. But this year, it was kind of the same thing. Right when I started being a counselor, they were in like around like June 15th, June 16th. They were also around. It was weird. They're actually around from early May. Actually, no, late April to late June of 2023 was when they were around. They spent 2 months. It's because they upgraded their house. My cousins, my aunt, they upgraded their house. They've rebuilt like a whole chunk of it to be way newer and nicer. I got to see it for the first time in October of 2022 when I was home in like late October 2022. You guys may remember. I think I might have done a stream of telling the story of last summer during that. So I might have not. Who knows? I probably didn't, but whatever. I did some SCP streams or some Nautica streams or something back then. But anyways, yeah, they were there for 2 months, and my grandma wanted to see them a lot. And my brother went too, because my brother actually couldn't find a job this summer until the way end. Until late July, he didn't have a job. But that's over 2 months of not having a job when he wanted to have a job. Because he worked at Wrigley Field last summer, but this summer they kind of fucking flaked him. No idea why. I think it was just a bad luck thing because other people he knew got rehired, but he didn't get rehired. We think it was a bad luck thing. So, yeah, can't do anything about it, I guess. You can't do anything about it. Which sucks, you know? But, so yeah, I think they went a bunch of times. Oh, I think I just realized I forgot to mention a detail. Did I? So the first day of summer, I might have mentioned this, there's this new path they built on this is a complete backtrack, by the way, to the first day of summer, May 12th of 2020, no, May 13th is the first full day. First full day of summer, May 13th, 2023. There was this new forest path that was built in the spring of 2023 around like areas where I used to walk around near my house. golf course and all that. And I remember me and my dad went on it, and it was super fun. It was very long, though. Can I do the backwards of this trade, perhaps? No, you bitch. Anyways, I forgot to mention that. But, yeah, apparently he went on that trail with me and my grandma one day, and they also went to cousin's house a bunch. Yeah, which obviously I didn't do because I work, which is a reasonable excuse, I'd say. But, yeah, I remember that weekend, or even, like, it might have been a Thursday or Friday. I don't fucking remember. It might have been a Thursday or Wednesday after work. No, it can't have been a Wednesday. So, Thursday after work, or Friday after work, we went to hang out with them. And they had some family friends over who I've known from over the years. It's kind of cool. But it was kind of annoying. We also went to their house in, like, early May. Like, back before I did, like, a Valheim stream. But I remember leaving early, and my cousin was there. But she was gone at this point. Although she came back later in the summer. See, some details I forgot to mention. Just gotta get through that. There's always gonna be a bunch of details I forgot to mention I'll have to go back on later. Even details I'm probably forgetting about right now. Anyhow, so continuing, as I always say, continuing. I'm gonna make more glass, by the way. We hung out that weekend with we decided to do something that weekend. So we really wanted to go out to this farm that our family friends have that I haven't been to since July of 2021, which actually wasn't that long ago. Wasn't that long. But still, we wanted to go out to there. But they're like, oh, sorry, we've got people plans on Saturday night, so we aren't going to be able to come out for the long weekend. And then me and my grandma were to my dad were like, hey, we could just come out for like one night instead of 2 nights. My dad's like, oh, yeah, true, let's do it. So we decided to do that, but that's later on. So the first day, Friday, I think we might have went to my cousin's house, I don't know. But the second day, Saturday, we went to visit my other cousin, who I hadn't seen since May of 2022, who went to Florida with us. It's weird. She just finished 7th grade, but she looks like she's a fucking 10th grader. Like, she's taller than I am. Went through puberty before. Had early puberty. But despite that, it's weird. She's a cousin, but she doesn't seem... She also knew what MCC was, because I was with them when we were watching MCC... When MCC 22 happened, when Counter-Strike was 1. But it's so weird. She's very antisocial with us. Like, she doesn't give a shit who we are. It's so wild. Like, none of my cousins are like that, where they're like, we don't care who you are. Usually it's like we're like that type of person because we're introverts. But I guess she's just an introvert. But it's weird because she has friends. Like, I have her on Snapchat. But it's just weird that, like, she doesn't seem to give a shit who we are. It's weird. I don't know. Like, but anyways, we went out to dinner with them. And I remember telling my dad, like, Dad, we should have just skipped this. Like, it was boring. We could have easily gone to that farm for an extra day. Whatever. So the next day I went to this farm anyways. And I hadn't been out that farm since July of 2021, which actually wasn't that long ago. That was like right when MCC 15 happened. I was out there. I like how I'm using MCC as like a waypoint. Like, I was out here when MCC happened. That's such a nerd emoji thing. Oh my god. That's how I'm describing the time for you, okay? But yeah, we went out there again, and it's our neighbor's farm, who are very close. But also, my other aunt, the one who's actually my grandma's daughter, so my dad's sister, instead of being my dad's first cousin, like the other aunt we were talking about, she went out there with her, how do I describe this? Fiance. But they've been fiancés for over a year. And they're relevant multiple times this summer, and this is the first, and they even went to Louisiana with my brother, but I wasn't there, so did my other grandma, my grandma who was here with us, my dad's mom, and also my dad's stepdad too, but he wasn't here. He really should have come with us to this trip, but he doesn't like leaving far away from Florida. I'll see him in November anyways, so. See, that won't last, which I hate. That's stupid. Just wasted a fence on that, whatever. But yeah, we all went out to this farm because they live in Ohio, and they live in Florida, but they also live in Ohio. Like, when we went to Florida in 2023, March 2023, I saw them twice. First before the cruise ship and after the cruise ship, and they had a house there. But they also have a house in Ohio. And I thought that's funny because Ohio and Florida are the two most like known as like reckless states in America. And it's funny how they're from both, you know. And her fiance, I met him for the first time in August 2021, but I also saw him in January 2021. January 2022, sorry. We went to Universal Studios together with him and my cousin. And then my cousin who's his stepson technically. And I also saw him in May of 2023. Or no, it was May of 2022. God damn it, dude. This is why I suck at storytelling. I just fumble my words. Anyways. But it's funny because he's rich. And he owns like a farmland area in Ohio. And he goes with us to this other rich farm. It's kind of funny. He's a really humble dude. It's weird. I've met him. I hung out with him so much. Going into the bit of the future, we also hang out with him in August of 2023 as well. And that's when I actually get more time with him. But we're going to get to that in probably a couple streams. That's a long time away. And he's someone I'm really close with. But it's weird. He's a grandpa. And I've never met his kids. And I've always thought about it. Like, if I ever meet his kids, I'm super good with kids, right? Like, it'll work out instantly. But this guy's seen me with multiple kids, so he knows I'm good. But anyways, he's a really cool guy. And we go out to the farm. And, you know, it's always fun. Like, I love my neighbor. It's weird. It's my neighbor are 2 parents, and they have 2 sons. One of their sons I saw earlier in the summer, but I didn't see him since. And their other son is just like out, you know, doing stuff out in the world. But none of them were on this trip. And their dad is someone that we always go down the creek with. So on the last day, so it was only 2 days, Sunday and Monday, we were out there. We go down the creek. We walk down this creek. We always do it every time I go out there, and just enjoy and explore. But I'll get into that later. So we arrive. We play around with some tractors. They show us their chicken farm. This year we stay in like the big barn. They have a big barn, which is really nice and renovated. We just hang out. We go to the beach later in the day, I think. There's like this new beach they opened up. Yeah, it was very fun. There were all these kids there, and not like I talked to any of them. I'll tell you, I didn't talk to any kids this time. We just chilled and swam for a bit. I actually went paddling, which is kind of fun. Went diving off a dock. Oh, it's me messing with metal. Whoops. Then yeah, it was a fun time. And then we went to bed. The next day I forgot to mention, we did play around with tractors. We actually drove around a bit. Next day we went to the creek, and we actually walked in this direction. And there was a beaver dam that was built maybe back in either 2018 or 2021, one of the last times I went on this path. And we always get leeches, but what's fucking comical is I got like barely any leeches, and like 1 or 2, and my brother got like 10 or 12. It was insanely funny, and he was the one who was like scared of getting leeches. And then obviously the father, he probably got like 1 or 2, I don't know. But anyways, I found a skull. A really weird skull. I thought it was a beaver skull, but it was nasty. There was like skin next to it. And I think we discovered it was a muskrat that probably died on the beaver dam. It was on the beaver dam and decayed. Anyways, I took the skull with me. It was in really good condition. And we hosed it off, and then we took it home. And it was a fun trip, you know. I didn't really see them that often, so it was kind of fun. And I remember they stayed after we left, although like, we're going to be coming back later. They have dogs, too. We just chilled out, had some dinner, had some lunches, dinners. It was fun. We had a bonfire at one point, and the father of the farm, I'm just calling them the father and mother, even though my neighbors, the male neighbor, and the female neighbor, but those are the 2 people. Okay, I'm not gonna say father anymore. It's weird. Although he is a father of 2 kids, 2 sons. So he and my uncle, the one who's a grandpa, they got along pretty well. Which makes sense because they're both quiet white dudes who know how to do farm stuff. And together the 3 of us made a bonfire. It was kind of cool. But anyways, I need food. Fuck. In game and in real life. And so, anyways, on the last day, we said goodbye. I remember we had a lot of moments we were just drinking. I wasn't drinking alcohol. Put on bug spray a lot and talking and all that. And I remember the female neighbor was like, "Oh, good luck with camp." Because it's weird because she's our neighbor, and so she knew the elementary school I worked at pretty well. But she obviously knew nothing about the camp. I just thought it was kind of cool. It's one of the things I remember. She's like, "Oh yeah, good luck with camp." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then we went home. And I remember saying to my dad, I'm like, "Dad, we should have come here a day earlier. We fucking should have. We shouldn't have gone to that lame-ass dinner party." And it's worth saying that my great uncle, the people who were staying over until like they would leave like later on next week, or later on like 2 weeks later, they were kind of not so nice people. They were kind of richy and snobby. So I was like, yeah. Overall, with all that combined, I'm like, yeah. I don't want to. And that's probably the main reason why my grandpa didn't even come, because he didn't really like them. So he was like, "You can visit your sister's family, but I'm not gonna come." But yeah, and they're like, oh, we definitely got. My grandma's like, oh, I've never been in this farm before, but we should come back one day. I'm like, maybe one day. I remember at the time I was like, we can even come Labor Day in like 3 months, but no, we never did. Anyways, so then we went back, and that was the end for the weekend. My grandma left the next morning, so Tuesday morning, my grandma was like, bye bye, and that was it for week 1 of working camp. Oh my God, the sun is orange. I need to take a photo. Oh, hey. Sorry, you just joined right as I went AFK to the bathroom and all that. How's it going? Yeah, I'm about to stop soon. So, just so you guys know, I'm going to stop in like probably a minute or so. Did you join? I was just telling a story about I was telling the story of my summer. We're already a month in now. We're already on to like June 19th, 20th, and like 21st, I think. I think June 22nd was the first day of this week because we had Monday off. So, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's talking about the summer, so I guess I'll quickly wrap this up. But yeah, that was the first week. Next day, my grandma from Florida left, which it may seem like she was there a short time, but actually, so you're there from Tuesday afternoon to Tuesday morning of next week. That's actually pretty much a week. So yeah, it was a weird week. Summer, I obviously forgot probably a lot of details from it, but we're gonna kind of go into the summer camp stuff slowly but surely. But yeah, it was a fun weekend. And then we went back to summer camp next week, and there was a new purple group, and more stuff happened. I said that the second week was more eventful than the first week. It makes sense. 3 days compared to 5 days, or 4 days. Sorry, but yeah, I'm gonna end it now because is it. I'll be gone for a few days, guys. I'm gonna see if I can get a video out before I leave. I'm gonna hard this the episode because I've been doing a bad job of getting YouTube videos out recently. I kind of like took a break and all that. Focused on school and Baldur's Gate together meant that I was not uploading anything. But I'll see you guys around shortly. I'm going to be going to Atlanta for a Model UN trip. It's kind of like the last year trip where I got to wake up at 4 a.m. This would be fun. Doesn't that fucking suck? But it's not in Boston. I'm not going to the Boston one this year because it's like 2 weeks apart from this one. I'd much rather do this one. But yeah, I'll see you guys after that. I'll tell stories. Probably not. I don't tell the stories in the Model UN trips that much. But this one's weird because there's only 5 of us going instead of like, it's a really tiny group. Because other times I think it was 8 of us, and one time it was like even like 16 of us. So this is a small group. Was it 16? It might have actually been a little less than 16. It might have been like 12 or something. I don't know. But yeah, this time it's only 5 of us. So and I only know one person the other 3, I do not know who they are. I've talked to them, but I don't know them. Like, I met them like a couple weeks ago, and I haven't talked to them much. So, yeah, I'll see you guys. Bye-bye. Hope you guys enjoyed, and more stuff coming soon. But